Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Whether you're watching live or catching the replay, I'm grateful to have you here. For those who may be new, my name is Tiffany, and I'm the founder and CEO of Nine&Thrive Mentorship Academy, a division of Tiff Touch Travel. I've spent over 2 decades in leadership within the financial industry where I built strong foundational strategic planning, growth management, and business development. About 3 years ago, I took that expertise and launched my own independent travel agency, combining sound business strategy with passion and creating meaningful client experiences. Along the way, I've had the privilege of mentoring and coaching women across multiple industries, helping them not just dream, but execute, build structure, and confidently step into their next level of leadership. That work has led me to some incredible milestones, including being featured in Times Square and recognized with the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Program as a mentor. I'm also certified in women's entrepreneurship, and I'm deeply committed to equipping women with tools, strategies, and insight that I've gained throughout my career so that they can build businesses that are profitable, sustainable, and aligned with their purpose. That commitment is why I created Nine&Thrive. Nine&Thrive is more than a program, it's a community and mentorship ecosystem designed to help women founders develop their true CEO mindset. We focus on building systems that scale without burnout, creating strong and trustworthy teams, and implementing strategic revenue growth plans. Through mentor led courses, weekly virtual office hours, live Q&A sessions, templates, and tiered coaching, including one-on-one mentorship at our top tier, we support women in building business that works for them, not the other way around. Most importantly, Nine&Thrive was created as a platform for growth, connection, and social change. For women who are balancing careers, business, and personal passion, and who want to thrive in every area of their lives. Today, today's event is a perfect example of that mission in action. Tax preparation is not just a compliance task, it's a strategy. It's about understanding your numbers, protecting what you've built, and positioning your business for long term success. Too many entrepreneurs wait until tax season to think about their finances. And my goal today is to help shift that mindset. I've partnered with a certified professional because I believe in bringing you real world expert guidance, not just guesswork. So you can make informed decisions with confidence. So I encourage you, take some notes, ask some questions. If you're looking at the replay, put your questions in the chat and we will get back with you. And think about how this information shared today can support your bigger business goals. This is a safe space, supportive, and designed with you in mind. Again, welcome. And let's get into the conversation for today. Let me welcome Ms. Stephanie Thompson to the call. She is our accounting mentor for the Nine&Thrive mentorship program. Thank you so very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule today to talk to us about preparing for this year's tax season. Can you share a little bit of background about your experience and your business?
Yes, good evening. Good evening. I do apologize for being late. I have been in tax prep business for about over 18 years. Me and my other preparers, we serve anywhere almost 410 clients. I'm saying 10 because it grows daily. It might be 11 tomorrow. Um, so we serve almost 410 clients throughout the whole United States. You do not have to live in Florida. I'm in Florida right now. I started in Charlotte. I have an office in Charlotte, an office in Concord, and of course here in Florida, I have an office which is in my home. I do taxes here. So I get tons of questions every year about tax prep. A lot of times people are uneducated. They don't know what they can claim on their taxes. They don't know if they have a business. Long as the expenses are reasonable and necessary, that you can put it on your taxes if you have a business. And I try to keep them educated and just keep them going. So, because my goal is to, if you have to owe, that you don't owe as much as you think you're going to owe. So I just try to keep them to either getting a refund or to owing very little on taxes, and it all be legit. I don't just do anything illegal. Everything I do, I have been trained, and I take the training courses every year. One of them is 15 hours. I take those courses every year so I can be listed in the tax professionals directory, and I take my job seriously. I have another job, but tax prep is my baby. That's my baby.
And I can personally attest and provide a testimony as your client for at least the past 7 years and maybe longer, that you are a consummate professional. You have prepared my very complex and unique business taxes for me, and I truly value the knowledge that you bring. Immediately when I called you, you were saying, "Hey, did you do A? Did you do B?" And that was just this year. I was calling you in preparation for this year's taxes, and you were saying, "Hey, did you do A? Did you do B? Because B is this way and C is that way." Like, just blew me away. You constantly show improve over and over that you stay up to date on the current tax laws and regulatory requirements, which gives me, who currently in my role as an independent risk manager at a financial institution, and then also a business owner and a CEO for mentorship program. It's I need someone who's got a very good, solid, ethical background. So I appreciate all of that. Now, what I'm doing for my mentees is I'm creating a template with a checklist,
Mhm.
a go-to checklist to kind of get started and prepare. That'll make it easier for them when they come to you because they should have, if not everything, most things put together to present to you so that you can then review accurate information and prepare. So I started somewhat of a list, but I'm going to go a little deeper in there with you. At the top of the list, I have gather all income documents such as W-2s, 1099s, and etc. What other types of income documents that are classified in the same category as W-2 maybe someone wouldn't think of to bring?
Okay, so we need bank statements. A lot of times people forget
Bank
their bank
statement.
statements because
Mhm.
that's where most of your expenses in. And sometimes some of my clients are paid by Cash App. They're paid by Apple Pay. They're paid by Zelle. We can also pull those statements from. I'll show them how to pull those statements from their apps, and so we can include those in their tax return. Because last year they had a limit that you had to, if anybody that paid you more than $600, you had to make sure you included that on tax return, or you was going to get this 1099K. So I had several clients, they failed to bring their 1099K in because they was thinking Cash
Mm,
App is not taxed, Zelle is not taxed. Yes,
mm.
it is. It's taxed. They tax those things. They tax the Apple Pay. They're
Oh, what's
watching.
the other thing? Oh, I need to go look at my app, way people send you money. It's kind of like Zelle.
Pay
Oh
not
my
PayPal.
Venmo.
Venmo,
We
Venmo.
got
I know a lot of people use Venmo
also the other one is PayPal. They
and
sent statements from
PayPal.
PayPal. Those all of those that if you get money like on a regular basis, they're gonna send you some kind of 1099-K, like, and it's gonna pop up. And I had several clients I had to amend their taxes because they failed to include those 1099-Ks last year.
Mm.
And it's like,
Something so simple, and you just don't think about it, because a lot of times those accounts will funnel into your bank account, but some people don't. They use that as their primary account, or they'll hold some money and don't transfer it, and then it's missing. So that is fantastic. Also,
I wanted to say one more thing about that. Also, if okay, say for example, your husband or somebody in your family send you money on a regular basis, so
mhm,
that it won't be taxed as uh a business expense, or I mean a business income, make sure in the for line, the memo line, that they're putting for rent or for loan, or it, because they're still watching. If you got this large amount of money every week, come on, the government is not stupid. They're watching us. They're watching everything we do. So
mm,
make sure in the for the memo line you're putting where that money is from, what that money is for. Even if you're sending somebody cash on a weekly or daily basis, make sure you're putting for in the memo line, because I have a lot of clients that use those apps, and I have to put that for tax preparation, because I use that as far as my tax return, because I don't want them coming to get me.
I know that's right.
Mm.
Collecting receipts for deductible expenses. What is um I know that I use QuickBooks or Intuit QuickBooks to collect a lot of my receipts, because you can actually email it to
Mhm.
them, and they will upload a copy of the receipt. So that's been really cool. Is there any other tools that you can think of that clients have used or shared with you where they capture their receipts? And what types of purchases in general? Like, I know there's that could be a long laundry list, but in general, what types of transactions should a business owner be keeping receipts for?
Wow. So if you have an establishment and you use your apartment or your house for the business, that's a home office expense. You can get the home office deduction for that expense. Your lights, your water, your gas, because when it comes to taxes, it has to be reasonable and necessary. Reasonable and necessary. As a tax preparer, I can't do taxes in the dark. So my lights right now, the lights that I turned on when I came in, I can use that as a business expense. My
Mhm.
water, I can't be in here doing taxes and have to go use the restroom. Those are reasonable and necessary. Your internet. I can't log on to the Zoom, this meeting right here, unless I'm on the internet. I can't,
Mhm.
or Wi-Fi, internet, same thing. Your cell phone, um, you could use your, believe it or not, your car insurance, because sometimes I have to drive my car to go and pick up clients' paperwork or drop paperwork off at the post office. Another thing that which sometimes is a very good, depending on what kind of business you have, you can use your mileage. Um but you can either use your mileage or your actual. You can't use both. You can't
Oh,
use your mileage and your actual.
well, we're gonna put a pin in that because if y'all want to know more about all the different things that can be used for your business, you need to call her. Call this lady. She knows. Okay? She can give you an extensive list, and it varies business to business. Now, when it comes to personal expenses, can you give me just 3 top receipts or things that we need to keep a receipt for for our personal tax returns?
Okay, for personal tax return. So now that the Tax Act and Jobs cut a couple of years ago, back in 2018, there's not a lot of personal expenses that you can use unless and you have expenses that over the standard deduction amount.
So what about like historically, like it used to be medical. That seems like that used to be one. Say you had like a major life experience and you had to come out of pocket a lot. You were going through cancer, you were going through some type of major treatment. I feel like I remember something about that. Should they gather their medical bills and bring them to see if there's any, if it meets certain thresholds, or is that category even valid anymore?
It is valid. So you either can use the itemized deduction or the standard deduction. But lately the standard deduction has been getting my clients pretty good on the standard. When it comes to, like you said, if there's an excessive medical or your mortgage, you have taxes taken out, state taxes taken out, but here in Florida we don't have state taxes. If you have taxes taken out, if you pay charitable deductions, if you had a large amount of charitable deductions, that way you can use your itemized deduction. And also another thing, this one, and this is a hint, if you have gambling expenses, people don't understand that if you have gambling expenses that are equal to your gambling winnings, you can, because you, most of the time you have a large gambling winning, they're going to send you a 1099,
So,
trust me.
so for those who done won the lottery, y'all need to call her.
Yeah, and
Keep a
they're
little
gonna
bit
send
more
you
of
a
your money.
1099, but you didn't spend $5 to get that thousand or 500,000 or $1 million. You don't spend money throughout the year, so you can put that on your tax return, and you have to put it on there. You have to claim that.
Yes. So that's just a little taste of her expertise, y'all. Um, I am gonna go ask one more, and then I'm gonna allow for Q&A. Um, what about we talked about charitable donations. Uh, mm, Verifying personal information. I know a lot of things have changed when it comes to passports and, you know, certain IDs and whatnot. What are the minimum qualifications or personal information that a person needs to bring with them? I know this seems small, but it's big because you can't move
Yeah.
forward without it. So at the top of their list, what are the top three types of identification that they need for each person that they're filing a return for? And also, do they need anything for their dependents?
Yes, ma'am. That's a good question because number one, when you come into my tax office or send your documents over, the first thing I ask you for is an ID. Make sure your ID is not expired because I can't use a expired ID. And some way one might say, well, it doesn't matter. You don't know when to see it. No, it does matter. They might audit me. If they audit me, it's not going to be an expired ID for your children, or kids or whoever, or either your parent. I want to have a something that supports how you are related to that person. You know, your birth, whether it be the birth certificate, or I have people use prior year tax returns that shows that they claimed that person before. I do allow that because that's allowable.
Wait,
Social
say that
security
again. So birth certificate, or what did you just say?
tax return. They can use a prior year tax return that has socials and um date of birth, and well, not the date of birth, is the date of birth is not on there, but socials on there. I use that as a method, as a document for to verify social security. But if you use that document, I want the birth certificate as well. Or if you have the social security card, some people don't walk around with the birth certificate, you know what I'm saying? I might use it, another form, the school record that I can
I was
see
gonna
that.
ask you about that. What about school ID or student IDs who are in college? Is that a something that can be used to verify their identity?
And it is because it's time stamped. It's a time on your school ID. Just make sure it's not expired. Because if it's expired, I'm just not going. All money ain't good money. I just don't want that money. If it's expired, I'm sorry. That
We're
means
not
something is
taking
going
those
on.
risks, so that's okay. Again, she's a risk manager in her own field. I encourage all of my mentees to ensure that they are risk managers in their line of business as well. So I'm going to stop right there. I think I have a great checklist. Anyone that is a mentee in the program, keep a lookout. I will be publishing that inside the mentorship program under the community tab. So this will be available for the standard tier. So it'll be available for everyone. Um, Now it's time for Q&A. Miss Kim Portia is located also in Florida. She and I were just speaking a little bit earlier today, and she did have some very good questions for you. So I'll let her ask a question or two.
Yeah, I think one of the questions was, I have like taxes that I owe, and I mentioned it to Tiffany earlier, but I never did any extensions on any of them. And then how long can you hold your taxes before you get a large penalty? How many years?
Okay, so this year they just started. I've seen some of my clients contact me about 2022, but it just basically depends on their IRS. And and then also another thing, have they sent you letters to file those taxes? Because 9 times out of 10, if they're not sending you letters, guess why? It's because they owe you money. If they're not sending you letters, they owe you some money.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, because I got quite a few taxes that I know that um I can't remember what taxes the lady filed for me.
Mhm.
I'm kind of confused on that, but I do owe, I think, state taxes for like almost 1,000, close to. I haven't paid that yet, of course. So and then I have other ones that I don't think that I filed correctly because I have like 401ks and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
then um other stuff that probably needs to get filed. So yeah.
Now, Stephanie, she's in Florida. She's going to reach out to you so that you can get a really, a one-on-one with her,
I need
uh,
it.
and then
Because I was
schedule
going to say Florida does
time.
not have state taxes, so I don't know if it's another
No, it
state.
was when I moved from North Carolina last year
Okay.
in November. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And speaking of that, I'd like to go ahead and pose this question. Um, is there something in particular that someone needs to think about as they move from state to state? Because another client that I've referred to you, they're going to be reaching out to you because they've moved from North Carolina to another state. They've sold property, they've had a lot of transition, and their situation is a little bit complex financially. So they're going to need your guidance. What's the first thing when you hear that someone has moved from state to state that they should probably, think about or document or make sure that they get to you as it relates to your taxes?
Just check out the state regulations, and the state filing regulations, because like I said, some states don't even require, they don't even collect state taxes. Like Florida, we don't pay taxes here. North Carolina does pay. Another thing, make sure if you living in North Carolina, South Carolina, that you are taking money out of your paycheck, because those states, they're going to get their money for real. And North Carolina does not have a lot of exemptions, meaning
Okay.
things that can be written off on, like um, New York. You can They have housing credits. They have all these credits. North Carolina does not have none of that. They don't
Mm.
give no credits. New York, you can get 1,000. You can walk away with $1,000 check because you get a lot of credits. You get a housing credit. You get a credit for having health insurance and all this stuff in New York. So just make
Mm.
sure you check your state guidelines. And if they don't know, they can call me. I'll help them and walk them through it. Um,
Excellent.
and if you're living in multi states, or maybe you're living in North Carolina and got to file in South Carolina, you have to file two states on your tax return.
Oh, that brings me another question. What if you work in North Carolina? What if you live in North Carolina and work in South Carolina? How
Mm.
does that affect your taxes? Because we're so close to the line. That's a very common scenario here in North Carolina. Um, how does that work? Do you got to pay taxes for both states?
You
How
got to
does
pay taxes for both states. I'm
uh,
sorry.
uh,
I'm so sorry. We paying
oh
taxes for both states because they gonna
man.
want their money. But for example, like I lived in North Carolina for part of the year, and the other part of the year, I will file a part year resident in both states. So the
So
part I
now,
lived in Florida, I ain't got to pay no taxes. North
well,
Carolina, I pay
but
taxes.
but
South
if
Carolina.
you don't live in South Carolina, you just work there.
It's still taxes. You got to be.
You gotta still
They're
gotta
going
pay
to give you a
both.
credit. They are going to give you a credit for the portion of the income that was in that state. They will. The other state that you're filing will give you a credit. Like when I was living in South Carolina, but I was working in North Carolina. North
Mhm.
Carolina gave me a credit because I mean South Carolina gave me a credit because I worked in North Carolina, and that's you still get
Oh,
a credit. You get a
okay.
credit for a portion of it. Maybe not all of it. Make sure you take
That's
out.
still that's
I
still
advise
a light.
all
That's still a little light at the end of the tunnel.
I advise everybody that has to file a tax return, just go zero. Don't even chance to put the kids on there. And some people tell you not to do that, but I go zero the whole year because I don't want to pay no taxes. When I was living in North Carolina, I was zero. I didn't carry my kids none. I know there are some need their money all year round. I understand that, but I don't want to pay no taxes.
Well, I don't blame you. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Does anyone else have any additional questions they'd like to ask Stephanie?
No, I don't have any questions. Hey, Sharnisha.
Question. What happens if you go all year and you accidentally forget to take your exempt off, and you make about 50K plus, and they only took out like $700 for the year?
Oh. Mm.
Sharnisha. That's a private conversation between me and you. I don't want them to see the other side of me on this video.
Yes, ma'am.
I fuss at her every year. That's why I'm saying that, y'all. I'm sorry. I have to fuss at her. Yes, but
But it
there's
comes
ways
with
around it.
love. It comes with love.
It is with love, but there's ways around it. I just hope you balance out this year, Miss Sharnisha.
What's the best way someone can contact you?
My phone number is 704-299-4579. I am also on Facebook, Stephanie's Tax and Financial Services. And also I have email address, Stephanie's Tax Services at gmail.com.
Well, I will be sharing the link to your Facebook page in the comments. And I truly appreciate your time. Thank you for blessing us with your mentorship and with such great information. Also, for those of you who are starting your business as an accountant, she is what a wealth of knowledge. And she has been so gracious to allow us to share her knowledge. So, whenever you see her on, this is an opportunity for you to learn and grow, even as an accountant. You can come on, feel free to answer questions, and she will openly assist you. In the future, she'll also have one on ones available that you can book with her at an additional cost. And so I just wanted to just share that this won't be the last session that we have you here. So I appreciate you, your knowledge, you're willing to share your spirit, and thank you so much for being here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.